I always knew that one day I'd be able to go full-time as a content creator, but I never saw it playing out this way. Yesterday, I actually got fired from my job because of my YouTube channel. It's story time.
Perfect.
Welcome back to Life of Birch. This is Birch, and I know that sounds like clickbait, but it is not. Yesterday, I actually did get fired from my job because of my YouTube channel. Now, I'm still not entirely sure whether or not I actually got fired, or if I quit, or if we just, split ways mutually, but regardless, because of my YouTube channel, I am no longer employed. So, we're gonna give this a go and just jump into it and go full-time on YouTube. So, it's story time. Now, before I start the story time, make sure to go ahead and subscribe if you are not subscribed already. Obviously, I'm going to need your guys' support more than ever, so if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, do anything you can. Let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to try and do this as objectively as possible and just leave my emotions out of it. I've talked about that on the channel lots of times before, about how anytime that you're facing something in life, you need to look at it as logically and objectively as possible and leave your emotions out of it. But in this case, obviously, it's going to be a little bit hard to do because this is all fresh within the past 24 hours. So let me set the stage. So when I first got hired there, I had full-time availability because I needed money, I needed to work as much as possible, and the YouTube channel was nowhere near what it is now. I was posting content just whenever I could, like once every couple weeks or whatever. I had like a couple hundred subscribers, or actually no, I guess at that point I had probably about 2,000 subscribers or something like that, because at the time, I think I was making like 150 or 200 bucks a month off YouTube. So YouTube obviously was not my priority. I wasn't actually spending a whole bunch of time on it. I wanted to take it to the next level. I always have. It's just at the time, the job was my #1 priority. And then over time, I started getting more subscribers, more views, started seeing like actual income potential from the channel. So I had to tone back work a little bit. So it ended up getting to the point last October where I had to talk to my scheduling manager, who's considered our GM, and just be like, hey man, listen, I have a lot going on with the channel right now. I have a bunch of parts I just ordered. I'm gonna have to be doing a bunch of install videos. The time just changed, so like I can only film in the mornings because it gets dark at like 4 or whatever, so I can only work night shifts. And I also need to like take Saturdays and Sundays out of my availability if that's possible, because as you guys know, I upload every Sunday at noon, so I needed to like switch it up and take off on Saturday and Sunday, because lots of time during the week I wouldn't be able to film, so I would have to like cram everything in on like Friday and Saturday and grind out like 10-hour days to film, edit, do all the back end stuff, get everything ready for the video to post Sunday at noon. He was super supportive, so he said that he would be able to make that work as long as like I could give him like a Monday or something like that. So we ended up deciding on that. And like when I say that he was supportive, I mean like he's probably watching this video. Last I checked, he was still subscribed to the channel. And I mean, there's been times that like at work, I was a server at a restaurant, for a backstory for anybody who didn't know, and I've had times that servers have come up to me and been like, dude, I just went to put my like jacket back in the little cubby and I walked past the office and he was watching your video, and I'm like, oh dude, that's sick. Like he literally entered the raffle when I did the giveaway for my Rebel 500. Super supportive. So anyway, we worked it out to where I was going to go down to 3 days a week, and my schedule was a lot more limited than it used to be. We always found a way to make it work. And then fast forward, I'm probably skipping over some parts, but fast forward up until about a month ago, the server manager sent out a message. The server manager was different from the guy I was just talking about, and she said, hey guys, we have a server clean coming up just to get ready for the busy season. We want to make sure that everything's all spick and span. Here's the details of it. Let me know which one you can go to. And that's fine and dandy. I mean, if you guys have worked in a restaurant before, you know that server cleans happen about twice a year. And the whole point behind that is just that you have to get the restaurant deep cleaned like twice a year, getting ready for busy season and after the busy season. And the reason that they have the servers do it is because, I mean, I was a restaurant manager for 5 years, so I get it. The reason that the servers do it, it's not to like cut costs or anything like that. It's done because obviously if the servers are the ones that are responsible for deep cleaning it, they are more invested in keeping it clean. So it's more likely, ooh, that's sick. So if they're the ones that are doing the deep cleaning, they're more invested in it. They feel like, you know, it's their responsibility to keep it clean more. So that's fine. I mean, I know the drill. But then I looked at the details and it said the two options for the server clean were 6:30 in the morning on Saturday and 6:30 in the morning on Sunday. And I'm like, whoa, like before we used to have an option for like a Friday night after after the restaurant closes, and then a weekend morning, like, so that everybody who has different schedules is able to make it. And I'm like, there's no way that I can be there. Like, I have so much stuff going on with YouTube, and like, weather is still iffy, so it's not like I can like record early in the week and be ready to be up early on the weekend. Like, I have no idea what things are gonna look like. So I went to the manager who set that up, and I was like, hey, listen, I'm not gonna be able to make a 6:30 on the weekend. Like, that's just so far outside of my availability. Not only do I not work Saturday and Sunday, but like, I also don't work mornings, let alone at 6:30. Damn, that looks good. I've been seeing C8 Corvettes everywhere lately. But anyway, yeah, so I explained like, hey, like, me and the scheduling manager, like, we agreed that I'm not working Saturday, Sundays, I'm not working mornings. He understands why. Like, I just can't be there. If I could, I would, but I'm willing to come in and clean outside of that time any other time, because they've done that for servers before. If they couldn't make it because of a second job or something like that, they'd say, all right, we'll save, you know, cleaning such and such for you, and you can come in either before or after the server clean and do it on your time. And the manager who was setting up the clean was like, no, that's not going to work. You have to be there at 6:30 in the morning. And I'm like, listen, it's not that I don't want to help clean. It's just like, not only is it outside of my availability, but like, I'm going to be honest, it's just a little crazy that this is a restaurant job where the earliest we ever have to be here for a shift is 9:30 a.m. and you need us all to be here at 6:30 a.m. Like, I just can't do it. I can't sacrifice possibly not being able to post on YouTube to do the server clean if I could just come in and clean something another time. Also, to set the scene, like, this is, like I said, a month ago, so this is as things are ramping back up for this season on YouTube. Last month, the month that this all took place, I worked 12 shifts at my restaurant job, so that's about 3 shifts a week, and I still made more money off of YouTube and like internet stuff than I did at my restaurant job. So it's not like, oh, I'm only making a couple $100 on YouTube and I'm just being petty. It's like, dude, like, I'm seeing real potential in YouTube. I'm sorry, but like, I have a set schedule of when I have to post on YouTube, and I don't know, I'm normally up until 3 a.m. getting everything done for the Sunday post. Long story short, she wasn't budging, and she was like, no, you have to be there at one of the 6:30 things. And I'm like, okay, well, like, what if I can't? And she was like, well, it's part of your employment. And the way that she worded it, I could tell that it was a threat of like, if you're not there, we're gonna fire you. And I just said, okay, and I walked away. So then she's sending out text messages to people like, hey, I need to know which day you're picking, Saturday or Sunday. And I just didn't respond, because I'm like, I already had this conversation with you, and I told you that I couldn't be, oh my bump, I couldn't be at either of them. And like, also, again, not to like, taking emotion out of it, just objectively, that manager tends to be very emotionally driven, emotionally high strung, and it's a lot easier to talk to her in person than it is over text, because things are hard to read over text, whatever. So I'm like, I'm not gonna respond. You know, if it's still an issue, then they can talk to me in person. So I didn't respond, and then nothing was said to me in person. And then maybe like, I don't know, a few days later, she sends out another group message to everyone who hasn't given her an answer, and she's like, don't make me hunt you down. What day are you doing? And again, I don't respond, because we've already had this conversation, and if I respond over text in a group message, or even just like an individual message to her, it's not gonna go well. So I don't respond, because I'm like, you know, I'm assuming that you remember the conversation that we had where I said I'm not gonna be there. Like, I don't know if you thought I was kidding, but I just can't be there. I know, like, whatever. So like a few hours later, she sends out a text message to a group message to 3 of us and says, I warned you not to make me hunt you down. You have to be there at the Sunday one, and if that doesn't work for you, you'll have to trade with one of the Saturday servers. I'm like, what do you mean I warned you not to make me hunt you down? Like, listen, I get that you're my superior, you're my boss, but regardless of your position, if somebody says, I warned you not to make me hunt you down, and now I'm giving you orders to do this, I just get in the mode of like, you know what? You know, like, I came to you offering a solution weeks ago, and I was honestly like, I was talking to Nina, my girlfriend, and like getting myself ready for like not having the job anymore, because just the way that things were already going and YouTube ramping up, I was like, listen, you know, if I get fired, I get fired. I've never even had a write-up before, so I would hope that they would just write me up or suspend me or something first. But I'm like, you know, if it comes down to it and they want to fire me over not being there at 6:30 in the morning on a Sunday, then I'm willing to accept the consequences of that. So it's the Saturday before the server clean, and I get a text message that night, and it's that manager saying, hey guys, we actually had to postpone the Sunday server clean for 2 weeks from now. Most of the cleaning I had you guys doing was outside in the parking lot, and it's supposed to be like 35 degrees and windy in the morning, so it's just not gonna work. We're rescheduling it for 2 weeks from now. And I'm like, okay, cool, that bought me some time, but like, now you want us to be there that early in the morning, and you're like changing changing the dates and moving things around, and like the first server clean we had less than a 2-week notice in the first place, and then last minute you're going to change it to another 2 weeks from now. I'm like, dude, that doesn't change anything. I'm still not going to be able to be there. Like, this week is literally even worse than the last week. I had to give up my Friday shift, the Friday right before the rescheduled server clean. So 2 days before the rescheduled server clean. I got scheduled that Friday and I gave it up because I hadn't filmed yet that week because, and by that week I mean this is literally last week we're talking about, I hadn't filmed because it was raining all week. The only option if I wanted to get my video out in time was to give up my Friday shift. Ooh, the green on that looks good. Film on Friday and then edit all day Saturday, get everything done, the thumbnail, the back end stuff, and have it ready to post in time on Sunday. So that's what I did. And like, if that's not a sign enough of like, dude, it's literally just that I can't do it because I care about my YouTube channel enough, like that Friday shift was probably a $400 shift and I gave it up to somebody else so that I could work on my videos. Like, it's not me being a brat, not being able to be at the thing. I literally just gave up $400 shift so that I could make a video that will make me like 80 bucks, you know? Terrible ROI, but at the end of the day, like, I made a commitment to you guys and myself that I was going to post every Sunday, and that's what I have to do as a business owner, because that's what this is now, a business, you know what I mean? Anywho, fast forward, and I go to bed that Saturday night, and I'm talking to Nina, making jokes like, yeah, when I wake up, I might not have a job, because I knew what was going to happen. Like, it just felt like, I don't know, just weird, because all of the, like, weird, like, rude text messages of, like, I warned you, and blah, 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 I'm like, something just makes me feel like I'm not going to get just written up or a suspension, like, it's going to go down, you know? But again, I was willing to accept those consequences. I was like, you know, I mean, I'm in no place to do this because, mind you, if you guys watched last week's video, you know that I did my taxes and I'm screwed and I owe a whole bunch more money than I thought I was going to, and I have to sell the FZ07 and get rid of the garage space, which, update on that, I did end up canceling the garage space lease. I literally did that a couple hours ago. Sucks to get rid of it, but it's definitely for the best. Anyway, fast forward, I was up until 3:30 at night on Saturday getting everything ready like I always am. Set my alarm for the morning, like, not to be at the server clean, but like, you know, set it up to wake up at like 9 or something like that. Slept through my alarms and woke up at like literally 12:05. Okay, yeah, just pull right out. So anyway, I woke up at 12:05, alright? That is ridiculous, but that should give you an idea of like how freaking tired I was from all the work I did Friday and Saturday. Video had already posted 5 minutes ago. I look at my phone and I have a text from that manager at 7:28 saying, where are you? Why aren't you here? And I'm like, I'm not going to respond to this yet because, like, A, you already know why I'm not there. You know what I'm doing. And B, I'm literally working right now. Like, as soon as the video posts, I have so much to do between, like, posting about the video on Instagram and, like, responding to comments and, like, all that kind of stuff. We can't have our cell phones on us at work. So how is this any different than that? Like, I'm literally working. I'm not going to check my phone. I literally keep it on Do Not Disturb all day. If you're one of my friends, you know it's pretty impossible to reach me sometimes because if I'm working, I can't be distracted. So I don't respond, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to respond later, or like I'll wait until I work with her on Tuesday and talk to her about it. Well, at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I get a text from the owner saying, I need to have a chat with you. When can you come in and talk? And mind you, the owner, I've talked to her before, love her, but she's never texted me. And I'm like, okay, I know what this is about. Not only do I know what this is about, but if the owner is the one that needs to talk to me and not one of just like the managers, she's doing it because she's been hired as the executioner, you know? Like, I'm getting fired. So then part of me is like, dude, if I'm getting fired, just say, hey, you weren't at the server clean today. We're gonna have to let you go. Don't like, oh, hey, we need to chat and make it seem like it could be something nice. Oh, dude, I do not want to ride through that. So I'm gonna back up and I'm gonna shoo-whoop around it. Anyway, I'm like, this is kind of weird. Like, I start second-guessing myself. Like, am I actually getting fired? Like, why does she seem like she's being kind of cordial? Like, what's going on? So I respond to her, and I send this whole long text message, pretty much just telling my side of the story. I'm like, hey, I'm assuming you need to talk to me because I wasn't at the server clean. Here's what went on. There didn't seem to be any wiggle room. I know it seems like I'm just being stupid and like, oh, I need to post a video online, but like, this is actually a business for me, and I don't think you guys understand how much work work actually goes into it. Like Friday and Saturday were both 10-hour days between getting set up, filming, editing, getting everything ready. There was no way that I could be there, and that's how all of my weekends are typically, unless the weather's nice all week and I can get stuff done beforehand, and that's just not the case in March. So I explain everything to her, and she says, okay, sounds good. I'll see you tomorrow at 3 to talk before your shift. And I was like, all right. And I still, like, you know, deep down inside, I knew that I was going to get fired, but I was still kind of holding out hope. But at that point, I was like, honestly, the way this is playing out, I just don't like it. And I started, like, talking to Nina, and I'm like, you know, I think even if they're not calling me in to fire me, and they're just, like, going to suspend me or write me up, I think I might quit. Because, like, I don't like the way that this is playing out, for one thing. And for another thing, it's like, they just don't, it's like all of a sudden they used to be so supportive, and now all of a sudden they just don't understand. It's like they think I'm kidding, and it's like some little, like, hobby to me or something, and they don't understand how much work goes into it. So I'm, like, kind of getting myself ready, being like, babe, we might have some big coming up, because like I really, like, whatever happens, I see myself not having that job, whether they fire me or whether I quit. So then comes the next day, the day that I'm supposed to be meeting with the owner at 3 o'clock. It's a super nice day, and it's spring break for the public schools, so we're going to be very busy. I'm supposed to work at 4, and there's like 5 other people working with me, and then in the morning there's like 5 people. Well, I wake up, I check my phone, and there's a server group message, and one of the servers called out because she woke up feeling sick. And then somebody posts in the server group message that one of the hosts that morning had texted them asking them to come in early and work a double, pretty much trying to get one of the night people to come in early. And slowly but surely, I see every other night server saying, oh yeah, I got that same text message. And then I checked, and I was literally the only nighttime server that did not get that text message. And I was like, huh, that's interesting that I have to talk to the owner at 3, and I'm the only server who didn't get asked to come in early and work a double. They must not be planning on me working that night. As this whole conversation is happening in the server group message, I send something out and I say, all right, well, I'm the only one who didn't get that text. It's confirmed. I'm getting fired this afternoon. It was good working with you guys. Make sure to get my number before I get deleted from the group message. And everyone slowly starts going, wait, what? Just because you didn't go to the server clean? Like, a couple people were like, I didn't go to the server clean, and they set up something for me to clean afterwards. And somebody else is like, yeah, they've done that for me before too, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm explaining the whole situation of like how I talked to the 2 managers, and there was just no wiggle room. And everyone's like, well, dang, that sucks, but like, I doubt that they'll fire you. Like, let us know how it goes. Everybody wishes me luck, and then I go to my meeting, and it's quite obvious that like everybody else there knows what's going on, because the host who sent out the text message, I walked in the door and I walked up to him, and just to see if he had any idea what was going on, I walked straight up to him and I said, where's the executioner? And he said, I don't know which one you're looking for, but they're both in the office. And I'm like, okay, yeah, he knows that I'm getting fired. If not, if I said, where's the executioner, he would have been like, what the f are you talking about? So I go and sit down with the owner, and I won't go into like a whole lot of detail about that conversation, just because reflecting on that conversation, that's what gets like my emotions the most high strung, you know what I mean, out of the whole situation. Like I said, I want to keep it objective and not emotional, because at the end of the day, like, however it played out, I still have a lot of love for that restaurant and the people who work there, so I don't want to say anything out of emotion that comes off wrong and whatever, you know. So anyway, we sit down, and she's like, yeah, explain your side of the story to me. And I explain the story to her, and I get to the part where I'm like, you know, there's people that have missed it before. I know one of the girls missed it this time for a sorority event. People have missed it because of conflicts with second jobs, and honestly, the way that I view it, me missing it because of YouTube is no different than somebody missing it for a second job. And she goes, see, that's where I disagree. The difference is that even though I agree that your YouTube channel is a business, you have full control over your schedule, whereas everyone else does not. As soon as she says that, I'm like, dude, I knew that's what she was going to say. But of all people, like, I would expect her to be the one that understands, because she owns a business. She owns 2 restaurants, you know? Like, yes, I'm in full control of my schedule, but sometimes things don't go the way that they're supposed to, and you have to adapt. And adapting in this case is like, I had to film all day Friday, edit all day Saturday, or else I'm not going to get my video out at noon. Like, how is that any different than like somebody who's in college and they have a paper due at noon and they had a busy week and they have to like miss the server clean in order to get the paper turned in. You know what I mean? And she goes on to say, you know, if you work here part-time, we need at least 3 days a week. And I look back at your schedule and you've only been working 2 days a week. And mind you, I haven't responded to any of this because once she said that first thing, I was just like, we're obviously so on different pages that yes, I'm quitting. If I don't get fired, I'm gonna quit. I'll let her say her piece. I don't need to interject. We're both in agreement that it's done here. Like, let her say her piece. And she's like, you've only been working 2 days a week. And I wanted to be like, well, yeah, it's been slow season. I've only gotten scheduled 2 days a week and we're overstaffed, so I haven't been able to pick up a third day. And then the only time I did get scheduled 3 days, I had to give up a $400 Friday shift so that I could film. But she's like, you know, you only work 2 days a week, so that means that you have more time outside of here than any of these other servers do. And that's another thing that set me off. How the are you just going to assume how I spend my quote-unquote free time and tell me that I have more free time than every other server here when I'm putting in 40-plus hours a week between filming, editing, getting merch ready, responding to comments, trying to set up brand deals? Like, I understand your point of view because you don't see what goes on behind the scenes, but it's literally no different than somebody who is working 2 or 3 days a week and working 40 days a week at a second job. It's just, you view it as I'm some cute little content creator and all I have to do is make little TikToks, but that's not what it is. She's valid in her feelings towards that because, you know, she doesn't know what goes on behind the scenes. But part of what hurts is like, I have sat down and had shift drinks after work with both of the other managers and talked to them about how much work I have going on. And the reason why I got switched to 3 days a week was because I had to tell him I have so much going on. Anyway, the conversation goes on and I kind of try to explain my side a little bit, and I'm just like, here's what's going on. Like, you guys don't see how much work I have. It is what it is. Like, I couldn't be there. So it gets to a point where she's like, listen, normally I'm a 3 strikes you're out kind of girl, so this one would just be a suspension. But based off of your demeanor here, something tells me that even if I give you a suspension, you're not going to be at the next 6 a.m. server clean. And the way that she said it felt, and this could be just my emotions talking, the way that she said it felt like a threat. Like, if she said it in a certain way that it would get me to be like, oh, please don't fire me. I'll take the suspension and I'll be at the next 6 a.m. server clean. But in my head, I'm like, no, you're right. I'm not going to be at the next one. Like, if I wasn't going to be at this one, what makes you think I can be at the next one? And I just kind of took a deep breath and was like, you're right. I'm not going to. And if I'm being honest, I knew why you called me here. If you weren't going to get rid of me, I was here to put in my notification. Like, I was here to put in my notice that I don't work here anymore. And she was just kind of like, all right, well, I guess we're parting ways. Hopefully we're doing this on good terms. No hard feelings. I understand that your YouTube channel is a business. At the end of the day, we have a business to run as well. And I was like, believe me, I get it. I used to be a restaurant manager. I know, like, you need people who have full availability and people who aren't going to give pushback and whatever. Like, I get it. That's why I was ready to just go. So yeah, that was kind of the end of it. Long story short, the whole thing leading up to it and just everything involved in it was very emotion driven, but at the end of the day, we ended things on good terms, or as good as they could be. I'd be lying if I said I didn't still have ill feelings towards lots of the people involved, but again, everything is so fresh that I'm sure that will fade. Like, everyone involved did a lot for me, and I'd like to think that I did a lot for them. It just got to the point where it wasn't mutually beneficial anymore. So yeah, with that said, I'm going to take a crazy risk, and it feels like all signs are pointing at it is time to go full-time with content creation. I don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm like equal parts terrified, excited, and just, I don't know, like, it's really scary, but it's one of those things where I had so much stuff planned for this summer, like the beginning of the summer already, that I was already starting to think, like, how am I gonna balance both jobs? Because, like, over summer, we're not allowed to request off at that job at all because we're so freaking busy. So you just take the schedule that you get, and if you can't work those days, it's your responsibility to get the shifts covered. Dude, no chance did my camera actually just die while I was sitting there. Oh my gosh, the life of a YouTuber who is unprepared and doesn't check his battery life. Anyway, what was I saying? I think something about I was looking at the beginning of the summer and checking like what I had coming on as far as like YouTube and just life goes, and I was looking at everything, and in a couple days, like this Thursday, me and Nina leave to go to North Carolina from Thursday until Monday for Easter and to see a concert down where my parents live. And then once we're back from that, the next weekend is my birthday, so I'm sure we'll try and do something small for that. And then 3 weeks after that, from May 18th to May 21st, we're going to be going to Tennessee for the first annual Rebel 1100 Owners Meetup. I could not miss that, and also I got talked into it by Ben, so shout out Ben for making me do that. We're going to be flying out because we have something scheduled on the 22nd. I'll get to that in a second, but yeah, so we're flying out. I won't even have my bike. I'll have to borrow or rent a bike, so if there's anybody in Tennessee that has a bike that I can rent or borrow, that would be sick. So yeah, flying into Tennessee on the 18th of May, flying back to DC on the 21st of May, and then on the 22nd, literally the next day, is when I have the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, which, shameless plug, Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, the charity ride for men's mental health and prostate cancer research. That's the 22nd. If you guys want to sponsor me and donate under my name, you can go to my website link below and donate, and that would be a huge help because men's mental health is a huge deal to me, and we want to raise as much money for that charity as possible. So yeah, so we get back on the 21st, then we have DGR on the 22nd, and then just 2 weekends later, we go to Myrtle Beach for 10 days. So I'm already looking at all that for just the beginning of the summer, and I'm like, dude, there's no way I can balance all that, all my filming, all my editing, trying to set up brand deals and all this stuff, balancing all that with work. There is no freaking way. And that was all coupled with me having just had the best month I've ever had on here, like the most money I've ever made, the first time I ever broke $2,000. I just passed 25,000 subscribers. All this good stuff was happening, and there was all these signs in my life and like just a tug at my heartstring that was like, dude, it's time. You know what you're capable of. I know it's scary. I know you're broker than you've ever been, but you know what's supposed to happen. Sell the FC07, get rid of the garage space, live as frugally as you can, and just double down on this YouTube content creator and just chase your freaking dreams. You can make this happen. Like, it's now or never, sink or swim. So that's exactly what is happening. And I am, like I said, equal parts terrified, excited, and I don't know. I just had to share this with you guys because obviously, you know, I like overshare all aspects of my life with you guys. I'm not looking for advice. I'm sure there's gonna be lots of people on here saying you're a dumb piece of shit. Why are you doing that? You're only making $2,000 a month. It's not the time. But honestly, I don't give a f***. What do I have to lose, you know? Not to get like too deep with everything, but anytime I'm making a decision, I'm like, when I'm on my deathbed, am I going to regret more if I do it and it doesn't work? Or am I going to regret more if I'm so much of a that I don't even do it? Like, am I willing to live my life scared, or am I just going to chase my dreams? And I chose to chase my dreams. Whether it works out or not, I don't know. I mean, I fully believe it will work out. Will there be hiccups along the way and maybe I'll have to get another part-time job? Maybe. But as of now, I'm going full-time on this. I'm going to be posting on TikTok more. I'm going to try and get back to 2 times a week posting on here, driving out more exclusive content for Patreon, finally buckling down on the merch, like all the stuff that I've been like, I just don't have time to do this, which is wild too. Like, yeah, I was only working 2 or 3 days a week at my serving job, but that time spent doing that took away like so much time of stuff I needed to be doing for YouTube. So like I said, from my manager's perspective, I could see why it seems like, oh, you have all this time outside of work. You're only working 2 or 3 days a week. But from my perspective, I'm like, dude, I don't have enough time in the week to get the YouTube stuff done in the first place, you know? I don't know. There's the update. Stoked for you guys to come along for the journey. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to go ahead and subscribe. Make sure to like the video and leave a comment. Liking and commenting just shows the algorithm that there's engagement and it pushes my content out to a bigger audience. That's the biggest way that you guys can support me, is just by watching the videos all the way, liking and commenting. And as always, you guys know, if you want to support me like actually monetarily, honestly, that would mean the world to me. I do have a Patreon where you can sign up and get exclusive content. You can just pledge your monthly amount, whether that's $3, $5, $11, or $25. And you can also go ahead and just sign up for a full year at one time, and that will get you a 15% discount, which is essentially 2 free months. And Patreon is honestly like my biggest support system, and I could not be doing any of this without them. So shout out to the current Patreon members. We are up to 34 of you guys. Love you guys more than you know. This is the next step of a huge journey. Don't know what to expect, but yeah, expect a lot more frequent content from me. Let me know what you want to see below, and I look forward to going on this journey with you guys. Love you guys. Peace.